Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Take One with me, Silver Filter. And our topic for today would be how to bring back to life your old loop or sound libraries. Now, we all know that a lot of producers buy specific sound libraries according to the sound that they want, and with all those digital stores of sound libraries today, like Loop Masters, Sample Magic, Sounds to Sample, all those stores, people just a lot of people, of course, uh, prefer to buy the latest and the best that they can find. Now, for a lot of other producers who are are on a budget, there's always something that you can do to bring back your old loop libraries to life and use them in your current productions in a way that you're able to use all those older sounds and integrate them into new productions that you have. For our example, I have an old sample library by Fatboy Slim or Norman Cook. I particularly picked this particular loop. So for a lot of other styles today, definitely you can still use that loop. However, I want to show you how we can use that same loop and use it in different ways, in different styles of what we can apply it to. Okay, so what we have to do first would be to slice it to MIDI. Okay, so we have a wave loop, or you may have an AIF loop. All we have to do now is once we chosen our loop, right click and then slice to new MIDI track. Okay, so now we create a MIDI track containing the sounds of the original loop. So we'll just stay first with MIDI slice settings. So let's just pick out transient first and built in, just for the example. And now we have our original loop, which is now sliced. So let's listen to that. So now it's playing a little bit faster, but because of our current BPM. But that's fine because we don't plan to use the loop as it is. Okay. So I'll just turn on the metronome back again and I'll delete the original loop that's running because we want to make our own. Okay. So what does slicing do? Okay. So we have once we've sliced to MIDI the loop that we have, it is now mapped onto our keyboard. So if I press my keyboard, if you'll notice down here, okay, each key now corresponds to a particular hit in that loop. And we're able to have our own little drum kit that we can use to create new patterns for our production. So I'm just gonna jam some different feels. We can create now different sounds, different speeds. So here goes. So that's one. Then maybe we can also do something a little bit housey. Okay, so or we can do something a little bit more on the drum and bass side. Okay, so the possibilities are endless, and we're just working with one loop from an old library that we have. So all we have to do now is just record those beats that we thought of, and we now have new beats from our old library. So let's say I want to do that hip hop feel that I was doing earlier. So I'll just bring this down here, and then we can now click. Okay, so we now have one hip hop feeling loop. And what about if we do that house thing that we had going earlier? So, oops. Okay. So of course, definitely we still have to quantize it and just line it up so that it sounds on the beat. But I'm sure you get the idea. And let's just, for the sake of the last example, let's do that drum and bass bit. Okay, so you get the idea. And from just one loop from an old library, we're now able to create different feels of different genres. Like we have one on hip hop, or we can do have one that sounds like a little bit indie dance, and then we can also have something like drum and bass. Of course, again, we just need to quantize. But you get the idea, and we don't need to jump in and just get the latest library out there just because we need all the sounds that we can get. I always advise my students to always revisit your old libraries because you can still bring them back to life and use them in a creative way. In that way, also, you're stretching your production muscles because you're not being dependent on what's new. You're not being dependent on what other people have created for you. You're now stretching your mind into what can you do with what I have already. And that is one exercise that can really do wonders for your productions. So I thank you for checking this video out, and I'll see you all next time.